In America, this bike is still in a class of its own. The Kawasaki ZX-4RR sits alone in this inline 4 small displacement category, 399 cc's, if I remember correctly, for my little pocket rocket here. Now, we've been waiting for Honda's answer, and we do have an answer finally from Honda. We have a new Super 4, and it has 103 cc's more than this bike. It has just been revealed. However, will we get this bike? That is another question altogether from Honda. So let's throw a leg over, let's go for a ride and talk about Honda. Ooh, we're a little dusty. It's been sitting in my garage, poor thing. What about Honda's new Super 4 small displacement pocket rocket? You guys are always complaining that I ride in really boring areas, and I can't do anything about that where I live. Ooh, there's a rock here, so I can't do my shortcut. I have to go over the speed bump. I guess I could have gone around the rock, but that's fine. You guys are always complaining that I don't have fun places to ride. I'm always riding in boring areas, and I just can't help it. I live in Florida. Like 99% of Florida is flat and uneventful. But at least I can ride, you know, 12 months out of the year. That's I guess a decent thing. An area, a little neighborhood called the Vineyards, and you know, you have to make your own windy roads, because in Florida there are no natural winding areas. There's no undulation, it's all straight. So I'll give you guys a pretty little tour of this neighborhood while we talk about the CB500 SF or Super 4. Okay, it looks like a baby CB1000F. I know that's just a concept, but that bike is coming. All right, so it looks incredible. This bike is for the Chinese market, and it is made by one of Honda's joint ventures. Does it mean that it's going to stay in China? And the answer is, well, it just depends on what Honda wants to do. We know Japan needs a replacement for the CB500, so they would have a lower displacement model of this bike for Japan. And who knows which one we would get. Would we get the 500cc or the 400cc model? I don't know. Okay. Anyways, it looks amazing. It's really, really retro styled. But like I said, there's a bike that preceded it. It's like the Zhongshui ZX-500F. And they have a fared version of that bike, Zhongshui, in China, which has a ton of power. And it is actually a better looking retro bike than Honda's newly announced CB500. Even though they did retro better than Honda, we're not going to get it in America, the Zhongshui, or whatever it's called. I could be butchering the name. We don't get it here, so I don't know how to say it. All right, but yeah, the ZX500F, absolutely gorgeous. They have the round gauges. I wish Honda gave us round gauges, even if they're digital, make them round. Of course, I'd prefer analog gauges on a retro styled bike, but Honda decided to give us a 5-inch touchscreen, or I don't even know if it's a touchscreen. I would assume it is, but it's a 5-inch TFT screen that you can use the controls on your handlebars to interact with. All right, so yeah, it's gonna look ugly until we can get a cowl over it. So it is what it is, but it's still, the bike itself, the tank looks great. But what are some other features about it? Well, 502 cc's, expect around 80 horsepower, maybe more. Time will tell. We don't know how much it's going to rev. We don't know tank size. We don't know a lot. It has inverted front forks, which don't look to be adjustable. Okay, so it's built to a price. You have ABS. You're going to have Honda's ProLink rear suspension instead of the dual springs or the dual suspension in the back, which looks so good. All right, the old Super 4s had the dual shocks in the back. We're not going to get that. Okay, you know, here's the thing. While it looks good, the Super 4, I might do a U-turn here, assuming there's no one behind me. The Super 4 looks good. But it's just not quite as retro amazing looking as the Chinese variant or the old Super 4s. Okay, so now what's interesting is it has e-clutch but the E-clutch, instead of being on the right side like you see on the CB650R, the E-clutch is on the left side. It's more compact, it's more inconspicuous, if that's the right word, incognito. Oh man, just, it doesn't even matter what RPM you're at on this bike. It just sounds so good. It's so fun. Can Honda recreate that? We'll find out. Okay, but anyways, back to the E-clutch. The E-clutch, it should allow, it should be lighter, which it already only weighed a couple pounds, so that's not a big deal. But supposedly where the current E-clutch, and I haven't ridden it, but where it doesn't do that great is downshifts. This new E-clutch is supposed to be faster on the downshift, smoother, and that's great. That's great news. Okay, so I'm excited for this new E-clutch integration on the CB500F. I mean, the engine in this bike has been completely co-developed alongside of the E-clutch, so it's no surprise that, you know, it's just going to be so much better than the old E-clutches, or should I say that they're not even old, they've only been out for a year. But the E-clutches, oh man, just making sure that old lady in the Tesla saw me. The brakes look to be possibly the exact same from the Hornet 750. The tire size is exact same as this bike. So 120 in the front, 17-inch wheels, 160 in the back, like the Hornet 750 as well. All right. The Zhongshui has, you know, comparable power to this, about 74. Again, with a much bigger engine. It does rev, I think, to 15,000 RPM. Not quite sure. It's hard to find data, or I just haven't researched it that much because, again, we don't get the bike. We'll never get that bike. All right. But I have a huge question about this bike. If it comes to America, what's going to happen to the CB650R? The CB650R, well, interestingly, this CB500 Supersport has a superior rear suspension setup than the CB650R, okay? So I think the CB650 is on borrowed time. I know it just kind of got redesigned, but wherever this new CB Super 4 comes out, and fairing versions of it, as well as naked versions of it, wherever it comes out, I just don't see the point of the CB650 anymore. Okay, now that you have the Hornet 750, right? What's the point of having that larger inline 4 that no one really seems to rave about? Okay, no one gives high praise. Are we getting a green here? No, maybe. No one gives high praise to the CB650's engine, other than maybe it being reliable. Oh Lord. You know, the CB650 just isn't that desirable, right? If you have that sort of inline 4 displacement, you could just go get a Super Sport, all right, a full-blown Super Sport with 600cc displacement, or go get a Z900, right? If you want an inline 4 with larger displacement, this is a better value. Okay, so I think the CB650's time is very short if this CB500 or even 400 comes to the market. Be much more desirable, higher revving, more affordable as well. And here's the thing, like where will this bike, if it comes as a 4 or 500, what's it going to be priced at? Well, it's about a $9,000 bike, $9,000 to $10,000 bike, this, okay? Assuming Honda makes a full fared version, it's got to be priced around there, okay? I think you guys would agree with that. But a naked's got to cost quite a bit less. I would say a naked version has to be at like $7,000 to $8,000. You got to be careful, right? Because you have the new CB750. Okay, so if you have the CB750, which, you know, once you uncork that thing, it's probably got like, I don't know, over 90 horsepower. All right, so this bike is going to have about 20 horsepower less, but it's going to have that completely different high revving character compared to the grunty CB parallel twin 750. All right, so Honda's got variety, and they just need to bring it to the market. And would I get rid of this bike for the new CB Super 4 if it comes to the US as a 500? or a 400 even. I honestly don't care too much about the displacement. All right, it just needs to be priced right, it needs to be fun, it needs to look amazing. Okay, Honda sport bikes look amazing. All right, so I'm not worried about that. It's just, you know, can they bring it here? Can they nail the price? Well, they've nailed the price with the Hornets. Okay, and this new CB, and they could just name it the CB500. That's the thing. If they bring it into the market as the 500, maybe it's just too close in displacement and power as a CB750 and price. Okay, so maybe they just, I have no idea if traffic's coming. Yep, little Venza and a dump truck. We'll wait, and we got a runway after that. Good damn. Oh, I just love this bike so much. Will Honda be able to match it? We'll find out. I'll see you guys in the comments. Let me know what you think it needs to be priced at. Do you think we'll get a 500cc, or is that going to stay in China? Will we see a 400cc? Maybe that's made in Japan. I don't know, but the retro vibes of this Super 4 are amazing. And just bring a full fared version as well and discontinue the 650R. That's what I'm thinking. I'll see you guys. Ride safe out there. Thank you for watching, and make sure you subscribe. You know, this channel, I love making motorcycle content, and anytime I see some fun, new, exciting motorcycle news, I'll try to update you on the channel. I still haven't got around to making a video on the new Z1100. If you guys want to see content on the Z1100 and how it's all but confirmed by Kawasaki and my thoughts on it, just let me know in the comments. But stay safe out there, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Ooh, I'm behind a Harley right now. A Harley Davidson. Is that look? I thought Harley only worked with Ford. Is that a Chevy? Am I getting my brain twisted here? I kind of want to get around, but there's like this big dump truck up here. Oh gosh. Harley Davidson. That was a GMC. Yeah, what the heck? When is Harley working with GMC? Have I been living under a rock or something? All right, be safe out there, guys. Peace.